righteousness of God versus righteousness of man. It's a pretty interesting subject. So I'd like to request you to have your questions for next around 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to come to areas. Obviously, as I have already mentioned about me, I'm Rajarshi Roy. I work as a senior IT consultant based in London. Well, that is my professional designation. But apart from, I would like to say more that I am a servant of Thakur Anukulchandra, and I have been involved in activities in whole UK and Europe mainly. And I'm really glad that today I got this opportunity. Just very quickly, as I was telling, the grace of Sree Thakur in recent years, I got opportunity to talk about Sree Thakur's philosophy in a couple of big universities in UK as well as in Europe, notably University of Oxford, University Amsterdam, Ibadak University, Czech Republic, City International University, Paris, University of Leipzig in Germany. And still that I'm really blessed that with the grace of Sree Thakur, I got opportunity to visit these universities, and I was invited there to talk about Sree Thakur Anukulchandra's philosophy at their institute. Anyway, today I'm going to cover about first what is the righteousness, and what is righteousness of God, and what is righteousness of man, and then eventually I'll come to the point that in today's world, the way to righteousness is the ideal centricity. So now the big question: what is righteousness? I think many of you might have heard, because this term actually came from Bible. So basically, righteousness is the quality or state of being morally correct and justifiable. Also, it can be considered as the synonymous with the rightness or being upright. It's kind of, see, things like righteousness, this word is a bit old word. So in English, we call it, this word has been borrowed from biblical English. So basically, for general understanding purpose, we can say that righteousness means what is the right thing for me to do? What are the moral code of conduct to be a good and socially and good and productive citizen in the society. So here it is saying the righteousness is the quality of a state of being morally correct and justifiable. But now next question, what is righteousness of God? We can talk about ourselves, then why we need to bother about righteousness of God? Because see, thing is that this, as I was telling, that in Christianity, the concept of God is very much important in Christianity. Many people, I'm not going to go much detail, but I will just take a couple of seconds. Since I am staying in Europe for nearly now 2 decades, so I got opportunity, or rather I get opportunity to interact with the people, those who are kind of Catholic as well as other branches of Christianity. So the concept of God is very much prevalent within Christianity. So basically, in Christianity, you see the right side of my slide, it is defined what should be the God's attribute. A lot of attributes they have defined. 21 attributes are defined, like self-existence, faithfulness, omnipresence, wisdom, glory. One of the principal attribute of God is righteousness, as it is portrayed in the Bible. It connotes the ethical conduct of any human being. Even in the Bible, like in the Old Testament, in the book of Job, the title character is introduced to us as a person who is perfect in righteousness. Means whose character is kind of full of integrity, whose moral and ethical behavior is full of integrity. No one can ask anything about his own integrity. So that is the sense of righteousness. Means now I think now I'm able to explain what is righteousness. But now question is that what is righteousness of man? Certainly, and woman indeed. Why it is so important even today also? Actually, the thing is that in Bible English and many old English, many things have been mentioned towards man, because during that time, gender neutral English was not that popular. But in today's world, particularly in the West, since I live in West, gender neutral English is very, very important. Otherwise, people might ask, okay, then righteousness is important for men only, why not for women? So righteousness is important for men as well as women. Because see, thing is that the way the righteousness has been defined in the Bible, it's an important attribute of the character of God. So in Bible, it is always meant for people must go to church and pray to achieve the righteousness, because righteousness is a very, very important part and parcel of a man's character. So I'm not going to go much detail about the Bible's teaching, because the purpose of this session is to talk about the philosophy of Sree Thakur, Anukulchandra. But obviously this term has come up from Bible, and many of us here know that Sree Thakur has covered almost all aspects of human development so far since the beginning of the civilization. So he has talked a lot about the Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, etc. So Thakur has covered many things. So I will mainly focus that how the righteousness of man can be achieved in today's world and why this is important. But also, I would like to focus here on important thing, that I would like to mainly focus on the although the righteousness is very important for the people across age, any age, at any level, across country, race, sex, everything. But the righteousness of youth is absolutely important, because I'm coming to that point. Let's first see what are the aspirations of youth in today's world. If we see the aspirations of youth, we can categorize mainly in these four categories. Like every youth want to build a career, like should have a good degree from a good university, or should be good in the education whenever they're in school or university or college, should be able to earn at least some decent amount of money so that they can lead a decent life in the society. And obviously education I already mentioned, because career and education I kept it separately intentionally. Career does not mean always that just because good degree from good university, because many people without getting good degree, they can lead a very much good peaceful life in the society. And successful relation, because relation is very important in today's world, because we see a lot of trouble comes in youth as well as even adults life because of unsuccessful relation between among the siblings, relation between the parents, relation between husband and wife, relation between girlfriend and boyfriend. All these are if these relations are not maintained properly, or if it is not maintained as per desired or deserved outcome, then a lot of trouble comes. Many problems in our society starts from the relations, problem in the relations. Then eventually, particularly now, earlier people used to say divorce is very common in West, but now it is becoming very much common in India also, particularly in the big cities, where people are kind of, they have some different thoughts, and people after spending many years together, people cannot just survive, they cannot tolerate each other. Eventually they think that moving on is the best option. But so that's why successful relation is very, very important, and it should be very important aspiration of the youth. Now again, next the thought-provoking question, that why and how youth should imbibe righteousness in the character to elevate the consciousness. Because the thing is that, as I was telling in my previous slides, the aspirations of youth are like career, money, education, successful relation. Unfortunately, in current education system, university or school, it is not taught, or rather I should change my word, it is not compulsory for anyone to learn righteousness, what should be the moral or ethical conduct. Like, many of you might go some kind of religious affiliated school, like, if you have gone through some kind of a St. Paul's or St. Xavier's sort of school, then probably you might get some sort of religion, but religious kind of teaching. But problem is there also you might have got only biblical teaching, because St. Xavier's or St. Paul's, they don't teach anything about Hinduism or other religious beliefs or faiths. So, but again, it is important that, and if you see my right side of the slide, that I also mentioned here, that we are, United Nations celebrate International Youth Day on 12th August, which is exactly nearly 3 weeks away from now. Because in today's world, if we see the world population, we know mostly roughly world population is around 7 billion. So out of 7 billion, more than 50% are youth. So roughly 3.5 billion people are youth in the world, and they have the bright, or I can't say whether it will be bright or so, but they have the future. So if they are not directed in the right direction, if they are not, if they are not able to imbibe the righteousness in their character, it will be difficult to elevate their consciousness. So what will happen, even if they might get a lot of good education, might be able to earn a lot of money, but at some point of time there could be a problem in the integrity of their moral, code of conduct, or integrity of their character. So imbibing the righteousness in the youth should be absolutely important, and it should be very, very important even for the people, those who are leading the country, even the politicians also. Because I'm talking about around the world, not just in India, unless and until youths are controlled, youths are provided the right direction at the right age, they might go any direction. Like if any youth is provided the right direction at the right time, that youth could be a very good citizen of the future citizen of the same country. But if the same youth is not provided with the proper sort of direction or proper sort of guidance at the right time, the same youth could be anything, could be the great destructor, could be criminal, who knows. There could be many negative consequences. So imbibing the righteousness in the character of youth should be absolutely, it should be the paramount, it should be absolutely essential. It should be imperative for the parents, well-wishers, as well as teachers, even the politicians. Now I'm coming to the point, like, the mission of why Sree Thakur's philosophy or ideology is so important to imbibe the righteousness in everyone's character. What Sree Thakur is saying? Sree Thakur is saying, mission of human life is the being and becoming. Being and becoming, the word is very much philosophical word, but Sree Thakur used this word quite often. Being stands for my physical, spiritual, and mental existence, and becoming means the growth in all three aspects of my existence. It is not just only materialistic growth or not only spiritualistic growth. It has to be balanced. So Sree Thakur, Anukulchandra's, all the messages and ideologies, mission is for achieving being and becoming of every human being across the earth. So what Thakur is saying in this message, let's read it loud. The mission of human life is being and becoming, and it depends upon one's surrender to one's ideal spiritual guide. Consummation of such surrender leads to God realization. The mission of life is God realization. So it is important. Like now, let's see in Christianity, they have mentioned like attribute of God and how we can how we can achieve righteousness through by attending the prayers in church regularly, etc., etc. But what Thakur is saying, whether I believe in God or not, that's something could be debatable. But what is more important for all of us to achieve the God realization? What is that God realization? God realization depends on how we can surrender and how we can attach our ideal. Because ideal centricity and ideal centric life can provide the proper guidance, proper sort of, proper environment. Because Thakur's, Sri Thakur, Anukulchandra's messages are so vast and so practical and so pragmatic. It can be applicable for anyone and everyone across earth, across age, across sex, across race, everyone. Now let's see another message. So now definitely we can say the key to the achieve righteousness is ideal centricity. Why ideal centricity? Because the ideal, Thakur is saying in his handwritten book Satyanusaran, The Pursuit of Truth at page number 49, that as is the ideal in whom you place faith, so will your nature be formed and your vision too will be like that. Now see, if you see the left side of my slide, it is I have put some kind of traits of the ideal person to whom I can consider who could be my ideal. Like my ideal has to be intelligent, honest, strong, determined, full of integrity, successful, talented, whatever. Because unless and until my ideal or my spiritual guru has got all these attributes, how can he can guide me to prepare to lead the life in ups and downs, in lows and highs. So that's why my ideal has to be so strong and so powerful and so much and full of wisdom. So again, Thakur is saying, as is the ideal in whom you place faith, your nature will be formed and vision too will be like that. So that means if we have ideal in our life, then we can achieve our righteousness pretty easily. Then we don't need to worry or don't need to bother whether I am achieving righteousness or not, whether I am able to imbibe righteousness in my character or not. Because Sri Thakur Anukulchandra's each and every message is so much powerful, so much practical, and so much, pragmatic, and so much applicable in each and every aspect of life. So if I have the ideal like Sri Thakur Anukulchandra, then I don't need to worry much about the achieving the righteousness in my character. Automatically my character will be full of righteousness, with full of integrity, with full of faith, full of power, with full of determination, etc., etc. Again, Sri Thakur. Now I will focus on few of the negative aspirations of youth. What are the negative aspirations of youth? The fear of failure. People go for, and every year we see, like, teenagers, they appear for 10th or 12th board and they don't get the deserved or rather probably desired outcome. They go for suicide. People go for depression. Why do they go for depression? Probably sometimes they get some sort of kind of undesired outcome from probably their relation, their career in college or even high school. Nowadays kids, boys, girls, they mix quite openly, and then somehow they get involved in some sort of relation. Unfortunately, many of those relations does not work, and then eventually those relations break, and that goes to depression, boys. And that is happening across world, whether it is India, UK, America, EU, everywhere. Because people are, the youth or even adults, are not able to control their emotion, not able to manage the difficulties in their life. And also other reason for having this, because people particularly in today's youth would like to get success quickly rather than putting absolute effort and wait and watch with patiently, because we always try to follow others. We try to see if one of my friend has got BMW, means I must have BMW at any cost. Whether I really deserve or not doesn't make any difference. But because one of my friend has got BMW means I must buy BMW. BMW is one of the most expensive car. So this way, depression, these are the negative aspirations of youth. And so these things, sorry, actually, I should not say the aspiration, rather I should say negative emotion. Negative aspiration does not mean anything. It's a wrong word. Apology for that. While I typed it, it was my mistake. It should be negative emotions of youth. So what I was trying to say, people get involved in this sort of negative emotions, and then people go for smoking, drinking. Sometimes even the ultimate situation of depression is that committing suicide. People are doing it because they're not able to manage their relation, their affairs in the society. They are kind of, they're not able to manage all aspects of their life, whether it's a career, relation, whatever, expectations from family, siblings, etc., etc. But while if we have ideal in our life, then we can manage all this depression, all these issues without any extra effort. Because Sree Thakur is saying in his another book called Magna Dicta, when the ideal is awake in man, obviously, and woman also, he or she is active, agile, inquisitive, responsible, alert, and tactful. In a word, all faculties bloom and glow. So you see that if we lead our life around the ideal centricity, then what we can have? Active, we can be active, agile, inquisitive, responsible, alert, and tactful. Which one, who is here not to have these things in their character? These are the kind of most important or most desired traits in everyone's life, whether I am 12 year, 22 year, 32, 42, 52, 62, at any age. So this is the beauty of having ideal centricity in our life. So friends and ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say here, I'll finish my speech probably in next 2 minutes or so, because I think I have already taken around 25 minutes. So the key message, what I would like to, I would like to request you to take away from here, the ideal centricity should be the main, ingredient, and it should be the key to achieve righteousness in everyone's character. Because Thakur Anukulchandra is saying that when ideal is awake in man or woman, he or she is active, agile, inquisitive, responsible, alert, and tactful. I think all these traits we all would love to have in our character. And then if we have all this, then we all will be kind of, lovable and likable in my peers, my siblings, by my parents, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, whosoever it is, everything. So in a world, all faculties of our character will bloom and go. So now, this is my last conclusion slide. So all the principles of Satsang prescribed ideal centricity are based on the scientific and rational thoughts. It gives all emphasis on the existence and growth of human beings and others, and aims to elevate the level of consciousness. Thus, ideal centricity can be considered as a positive development construct across all ages. Hence, this could be a very much effective tool to achieve women's righteousness in their character. If you have any question, information, you can please note down my contact details. My name is Rajarshi Roy. I have in the slide mentioned my email ID, my WhatsApp mobile number, as well as my Twitter handle also. If you would like to talk anything about anything, and if you have any query, then please do contact me. And also I'd like to say those who are around here and probably is attending this program today for the first time and coming to know about Sree Thakur Anukulchandra's philosophy, then I would like to request them, if you like it, and I'm sure you will, please do contact anyone who is already devotee of Sree Thakur Anukulchandra in your locality. At the same time, if you have any queries about Sri Thakur's philosophy and message, please do contact me directly. And I write a couple of blogs also, then you can follow them also. Jai Guru, Vande Purushottamam.